Shohei, don't you regret not coming to the Yams? Colby, hit it.
Boo.
Whatever.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You're a hater. Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. This is Trident Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you so much for making us your first listen after the game. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. And if you're part of the crew and rock with us every single day, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to hear from us even more, please consider signing up for our Patreon. You can now get a free 7-day trial to check out the show. The link, as well as our social accounts, is in the description of this episode. 5-3, the final score from Angel Stadium tonight. Mariners stun the Halos and overcome Shohei Ohtani's big night thanks to a ninth inning grand slam from none other than Cade Marlowe. Colby, what was your reaction when that ball went over the right field wall? And keep in mind, this is a family show.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you enunciate the ninth inning grand slam a little bit more? I don't think that you quite hit all the syllables.
Grand slam.
Yeah, you know,
you're feeling spicy tonight, man. It's your problem.
We beat the Angels. It's my favorite thing in the world, so I'm actually in a good mood.
Sure,
I got to send out my favorite gift. Like
right.
It worked out great. So
that's right. So why are you being mean? Why are you being a hater tonight?
It's just you just bring it out in me. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Sure. All right.
But yeah, it was obviously super exciting. You know, they load the bases and you're like, okay, the Mariners are pretty good with the bases loaded. I know it doesn't seem like they are, but they actually are. And you know, you've got Estevez isn't throwing a strike. Like, all right, they got some speed out on the bases. Maybe you get a walk and then you get a sac fly, and then somehow, of course, you don't score any more than that. But you push this game to the ninth, and you see what can happen. And you know, then Teoscar does what Teoscar does. And then Marlowe, you know, 0-2 count, basically the same pitch twice in a row. Not really all that close on either of them, and you're just kind of sitting there like, ugh. I mean, we really about to have Dylan Moore and try and bail you out here. And then, you know, shame on Estevez for trying to slip the same pitch by Marlowe for the third time. Didn't go well for Mr. Estevez. As initially I thought, oh, well, that's a deep fly ball. That'll get a run. Like there's a run, and then we'll have to see if Dylan can get a hit. And it just kind of kept on going and going. And yeah, it was obviously super exciting. This is a game you really needed. You know, Shohei left the game on the mound after the fourth, and that's huge because you do have the pitching matchup in theory the rest of these games. And so if you could steal this one, it takes a lot of pressure. We talked earlier in today's show about how you have to split. You have to find a way to split. You cannot drop 2 games in the standings to the Angels. You have to split. But we also talked about how hard it would be to beat Ohtani. So we were thinking you had to go in this weekend series and kind of win 2 of 3.
Right.
Well, thanks to Cade Marlowe, if you go out into this weekend series and you win 2 of these 3 games, you're the team that adds 2 games to your ledger against the Angels. And if you win all 3 now, bye-bye to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're an afterthought at that point. So, yeah, it's a huge win, obviously, and Marlowe's grand salami was much needed. You know, you kind of get to the point where you're like, yeah, well, you know, this was a low probability win anyways, and blah, blah, blah. And at least Woo pitched well, and, you know, you could kind of start to wrap your head around it. And then, nope. Estevez comes in, the guy that was picked for the All-Star team ahead of Paul Sewald. Oops. And
ball don't lie.
Yeah. Cade Marlowe made him look like you fill in the blank. So
sure.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And again, it happened against the Angels. And of course the Angels are punks. Of course they throw at JP. Tell me, oh, he couldn't throw strikes. Yeah, that's why he threw it right at his backside. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not. He was missing up. He was missing on his arm side. He wasn't missing that bad inside to lefties. So don't tell me that wasn't intentional. We'll see what happens there. Scott certainly thought so, or at least somebody in the Mariners dugout thought so. So we'll see what that does. But yeah, just awesome. Anytime you can send Phil Nevin home crying, it's a great night. And you know, anytime you get the old tungsten arm O'Doyle stat, you get to see that play out live. It's a great night. So it was a lot of emotions wrapped up in one swing.
This was a certified tungsten arm O'Doyle moment because Shohei obviously had a great night, had the home run off of Isaiah Campbell to make it 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th. I'm sure we're all, or at least most of us, are familiar with the tungsten arm O'Doyle tweet. But for those that don't know, this was a tweet from a couple years ago from @MattAtomic on Twitter. It says, quote, "Every time I see an Angels highlight, it's like Mike Trout hit 3 home runs and raised his average to 528, while Shohei Ohtani did something that hasn't been done since tungsten arm O'Doyle of the 1921 Akron Groomsmen as the Tigers defeated the Angels 8-3. Of course, tungsten arm O'Doyle, not a real person, just a play on the. Is he? No, he's not. They if you look him up on Baseball Reference,
is he on Baseball Reference?
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. Yes, yeah. My mistake. But obviously,
disrespect old tungsten arm.
Right. However, we did get a real tungsten arm O'Doyle tweet, which comes from the wonderful Miss Sarah Langs, who tweeted tonight right after Ohtani's home run. Shohei Ohtani is the first player with a home run and a stolen base in a game he started on the mound since Mudcat Grant on May 7th, 1964. And the Mariners win 5-3. Wonderful.
Because of course.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Marlowe at bat real quick. You mentioned it. Estevez goes fastball, top of the zone. Marlowe swings through it. Next pitch, fastball, top of the zone. Marlowe swings through it. Third time, why not? Why not try it? He whiffed on the first 2. Why not? Go back to the same spot, same pitch. 100-mile-per-hour fastball, top of the zone. Marlowe didn't miss this time. Pretty sweet. And friend of the show, Chris W on Twitter @ZipKidCW wanted me to ask you, Colby, Cade Marlowe extension when?
Well, you got to save that money for Ohtani this winter.
So you got to give Cade the Ohtani money.
No, because not until you can convince people that you tried. Because as we know, trying is good enough for this front office. Just ask them about their trade deadline. You didn't think I could sneak that in, did you? Don't underestimate me, Ty. But
well, they're going to have endless money now that they've raised the season ticket prices again.
Yeah, by like 53%,
without making an official announcement. Just
sending it out in the email blast. Boy, I sure hope you sign Ohtani with those prices. But
or Cade Marlowe. Or Cade Marlowe extension.
Somehow, I think that money that they're going to make from raising those ticket prices is going right back in the pocket of a certain ownership group. Because
not possible.
I mean, they did shave like $6 million off of payroll, and they reinvested that right back in the team at the deadline by acquiring Bizzardo. I think is his name.
Right.
Sure.
$15 million pitcher Edward Bizzardo. Right.
Sure. That sounds like tungsten arm O'Doyle to me. So yeah. But
who's a real person?
But do you know what happens when you click on that link on Baseball Reference?
Oh, yeah.
What happens, Ty?
You go to Shohei Ohtani's page.
Okay, just check.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I thought that's what we were referring earlier. Yeah.
I thought so too, but I was kind of like, does he know? Like
it's 1:17 in the morning here, Mr. Patnode.
Well,
I might not be quick on the draw.
Yeah. Although to be fair, that has little to do with the time.
True. Good point. Fair point. God, you're so spicy tonight. What is with you?
I'm on it.
All right. So let's talk about the rest of this game. Let's talk about Bryan Woo, and then let's get out of here. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners postgame show is brought to you by eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit, and that's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head on over to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay guarantee fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Oh, come on. You're listening to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. God, you're such a hater tonight. Jeez. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 5-3 win over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You can catch game 2 of this series tomorrow on the Mariners hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app. All right. Bryan Woo started this game, and he got through the first 5 innings pretty okay, and then he was 1 pitch away from getting out of the 6th unscathed. Unfortunately, he was not able to do that, and the Angels, with a couple of hits from CJ Cron and Mike Moustakas, made this game 2-1, and that was the end of Woo's night. The final line for Woo: 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 hard hit balls. What did you think about his night tonight, Colby?
Yeah, pretty good. And credit to Scott Service for not looking at Woo and saying, "Oh, he's got 83 pitches. We can try and get him for a 7th."
I thought that was going to happen. I thought for sure that was going to happen. I convinced myself that was going to happen.
Sure. But yeah, interesting note here. Bryan Woo did not give up a hard hit ball on his 4-seamer tonight. So he threw it 30 times. It was his primary pitch, 36%, 18 swings, 7 whiffs. That's a really good ratio for a 4-seam fastball, which is nice to see because, Woo, his last few times out has been a little shaky. So yeah, it was, an incredibly effective pitch for him. Also broke out the 2-seam fastball. It was a very fastball heavy approach tonight. He threw the 4-seam or 2-seam 53% of the time. Got 28 swings and 10 whiffs on those 2 pitches. Slider was pretty good, 3 whiffs on 7 swings, but 4 called strikes on that pitch, 41% called strike plus whiff on the old slider there. So yeah, only 4 balls, only 4 of them put in play, only 1 of them hard hit. Yeah, Woo was good tonight. Got bailed out. Well, I don't want to say he got bailed out. Got a little bit lucky in the first with the check swing double play, but whatever. Stuff like that happens. He also got unlucky when Cron got his little hit to kind of start the rally. It was a pretty good pitch, and he just kind of flipped it in there. Woo just made the one mistake all night, the one really bad pitch all night, and it was the pitch immediately after the pitch clock violation that gave the Angels the lead. So unfortunate that that's how it kind of ended for him, but overall it was a pretty good night. Good command, not I would say, not great, but pretty darn good. And it's good to see Woo, get through the first 3 innings, I think on like 27 pitches. That's huge because we talked about on the AM show, or I guess that's what we'll call it, the AM show. We talked about how you need Woo to not go 3. He has to go 5 or 6 at the very least. He can't be a guy who's struggling to get through 3 or 4. And he gave you 6. And the Mariners, fortunately, only had to use one of their high leverage guys tonight. I mean, it depends if you count Spire or not, but Spire should be available tomorrow. Munoz maybe
Isaiah
not,
Campbell is a high leverage guy. He was the winning pitcher in this game, Colby.
Yes.
Pitcher wins, as we all know. Very important stat.
Very. So, yeah, by the way, fun little note on StatCast, just because it made me chuckle. Obviously, there was a mistake made because, according to StatCast, Bryan Woo threw a 4-seam fastball that had a spin of 136. 136 rotations per minute, which is like a really solid knuckleball. So, obviously, that's a mistake. It was
apparently Bryan Woo's invented a new pitch tonight.
Yeah. It was interesting, just because Woo, the spin rates were down on all of his pitches. The velocity was down about half a tick on all of his pitches, but the command was better. So I don't know. Maybe that's an intentional thing. Maybe it is a sign of wear and tear, like we've talked about. The good news is that the Mariners have days off on Monday and again on Thursday, so they can get a little funky with Woo's clock here. They could skip him altogether this next time through the rotation. They could push him back a couple days. They can reshuffle some guys. So when we talk about how does Woo get through the rest of the season if they're trying to, keep him in the rotation, next week is a big part of that because, again, you get the 2 days off in 4 days and you can kind of maneuver that around how you want within reason. So we'll see. Obviously, it's a really good sign. Now, you hope Bryce Miller has a similar outing because he's also been pretty shaky the last few times out.
Yeah, so we'll see on that. We'll get there when we get there. But for now, the Mariners are 2.5 back of the third wild card in the American League.
And really 2.
Yeah. And they also picked up a game on the Astros, who lost to the Yankees tonight. So they are, 3.5 back of them?
I think it's 4.
4? Okay. So picked up some ground. Got an awesome win. Tungsten Armo Doyle Shohei Ohtani. Pretty good night. So happy with it. Very happy with it. All right, you're listening to the Locked On Mariners postgame show. Thank you again for making us your first listen after the Mariners 5-3 win over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You can catch Game 2 of this series on the Mariners' hometown broadcast, SiriusXM via the SXM app tomorrow night. So you talked about it a little bit earlier. Do we actually think something is going to come of JP getting hit tomorrow or over the weekend? Because these two teams wasn't that long ago.
It's a little over a year ago.
Teams,
Sure.
Threw hands.
They did.
Threw a lot of hands.
I wonder if Rendon's going to be there with a cast to act as Mike Trout's personal bodyguard, because of course Trout will stand in the back of the brawl that he started. So I don't even know if Trout's with the team right now, but if he he'd stand in the back.
Will Archie Bradley, was that who it was, be there to break his wrist?
Yeah. Who's JP gonna beat the living snot out of? So
who's Dylan Moore gonna rip out of the pile?
Yeah. Ooh. They're fake tough guys over in Anaheim because they're a fake city too. We've talked about this, the Donald of California. So yeah, I think it's possible. Nevin is a guy who thinks that he's like a cowboy, but in reality, he's just an idiot.
Is Andrew Wantz on this team?
I don't know, but
if you see him or someone,
any opener tomorrow,
if suddenly the pitching matchup changes,
boy, that would be totally suspicious. And unlike Phil Nevin, who has never ever done anything like that.
It's
they
totally
play ball
just
the right way.
Yeah, it's totally
Obviously,
just a coincidence if that happens. Yeah.
It's Scott Service's fault, clearly.
Yeah,
because it's always his fault.
Scott Service hit JP Crawford tonight.
The Mariners have been hit more by the American League West than they've hit their opponent by 10-1 in the last 5 years, and it's Scott Service's fault.
Right.
That son of a gun.
Yep.
So
he's a villain.
Yeah, like I said, Nevin is an idiot. He's also idiot's the right word.
No, he's a moron.
Yeah, he's an absolute moron. So he might start something. I wouldn't be shocked at all. But hey, you know what? Just go in, because they're desperate right now, because they know if they lose 2 of these next 3, that's a long way back. They're 3.5 back at that point from the Mariners even. And while they can make it up, that is a lot of ground to make up for a team that's struggling while another team is ascending. So we'll see what happens. But I did see somebody say that FanDuel has odds on a brawl tomorrow, and they're heavily favoring there being a brawl tomorrow. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never seen FanDuel or any of those betting sites. I've never seen them put odds on a brawl happening, but maybe. I don't know. Honestly though, I'm not really rooting for it. I just kind of want them to play ball, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want any suspensions or anything like that.
My advice, my 2 cents to the Seattle Mariners, as fun as a brawl would be, and us, we are team brawl over here.
Not in
as fun as that would be. You're on a really nice run here. I don't know if risking suspension, multi-game suspensions would be the smartest thing right now. Ooh. So they hit you, let it go. Just let them, look like the tools that they are and move on.
I have an idea though. Ty France can go after him. Everybody else now, you just
of course.
Yeah, let Ty go.
Sure.
deal with that. Although Ty's facing lefties in division tomorrow, so probably a day he's going to go 3 for 4
Right.
because that's the only time Ty France can hit.
You're
Eventually,
checking.
you guys are eventually coming to my side. At some point, there will be a plurality of people who say, "Colby's right. We should non-tender Ty France this winter."
You're checking all the boxes tonight.
Playing the greatest hits, Ty.
Mean to Ty.
Mhm.
Both Ties. Me
To be
and
fair,
Ty France.
To be fair, you both deserve it.
Right.
With your performances tonight, you both deserve it.
I thought my performance was pretty good tonight.
Your cold open was terrible.
Better than Teo's. You just don't get the reference. Better than
Who
Teo's.
isn't better than Teo?
Better than Teo's performance in the ninth inning.
By the way, can we, for the love of God, can we move Julio out of the number 2 spot?
We're back on that again. We're doing that again.
Every at bat tonight was worse than the one before it.
It was. The second to last at bat was really bad, where he took like 100 right down the pipe, just stared at it.
Strike 3.
Yeah, for strike 3.
How about on 2-0 when he swung at a pitch that was like 6 inches off the inside corner? Like,
yeah,
like the at bats don't even make sense.
Yeah.
So get Gino is your best hitter right. Well, JP is your best hitter right now. Your second best hitter right now. I mean, maybe it's Cade Marlowe, but let's not push it. Your second best hitter right now is Gino
Tom
Suarez.
Murphy.
It's a good point. And Tom will be in the lineup tomorrow against the lefty. So you know what? Tom Murphy leadoff guy.
Hey,
let's do it.
I'm gonna say that stat that we discovered on CTZ today, which again, patreon.com/control the zone.
Great
WRC
episode,
Plus. Yeah, it was a really good episode. We almost went 2 hours today.
All baseball too.
WRC Plus leaders in Major League Baseball, minimum 100 plate appearances since May 1st. Number 1, Aaron Judge. All right. Yeah, sure. Number 2, Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. Number 3, Tom Murphy. Tom Murphy's a hitting god right now.
Yes.
Get him in the lineup. You know what? Hit Tom Murphy number 2. Why not? Let's ride.
I just said hit him lead off, but sure, you can piggyback off that.
Oh, you said
the worst idea. Yeah.
I don't listen to you, so
just saying it should be Tom Eugenio tomorrow.
Sure. Yep. Cade. Actually, Cade won. Cade should lead off.
But in all seriousness, let's not start like the movement to move Cade significantly up the lineup.
No.
Just put him down there. Like, just let him do his thing. Same with Canzone. Never start Rojas again. That's a given. But that dude's not good.
two games and you're already over it.
By the way, the Canzone Rojas stack is like 2 for like 19 so far in their Mariners.
Canzone had a really nice hit to keep things going. Bases loaded. Like
when he hits a home run, I'll care.
All
but
right.
Anyway, let's end on a serious note here. Back-to-back lefties, right? We haven't seen lefties since the I would call it the trade deadline, but I don't think the Mariners actually participated, so I'm not sure what to call it. But we haven't seen lefties since then, lefty starters. How do you think the lineup shakes out?
You got to have Murphy in there. I think Demo's going to be in there.
Second base, sure.
Caballero? Yeah, or Cabby.
Or left field for Demo, maybe right field.
Yeah. Oh, dude, are you gonna really?
I think I would
Marlowe on the bench. Yeah, I think and also we talked about this earlier. I think you should heat check Marlowe a little bit against lefties. He's had a couple of big hits against lefties. Let's see. Why not? Which lefty is it tomorrow? Is it Detmers or is it
Detmers? Yeah.
Okay.
Slider guy, tougher matchup.
All right, so maybe heat check him against Tyler Anderson then.
Yeah, I would say so. But I think tomorrow you'll see Tom will catch. Demo, I think, will play one of the outfield spots. I'm assuming Teo will play the other one, which leaves the DH for Cal Raleigh open if you want to take that avenue.
Yeah.
France will play first. Obviously, Ford will be on the bench, and then Caballero, I think, probably plays second. So I think they'll put all the righties in there. I think your bench will be Canzone, Marlowe, Ford, and Rojas.
Right.
So that would be my guess. We'll see. Interesting. They sat Mike Ford against the righty. Was that just because they wanted to give Teo another half day off, or is it because they don't want Ford in the line? They'd rather have Canzone and Marlowe in the lineup, which is the right decision.
Yeah, it is the right decision. I mean, Mike Ford is 6 for his last 47 or something like that. I saw something on Twitter yesterday. Probably.
Like, we're getting to the point, though, by the way, where Mike Ford doesn't make sense for this roster.
Yeah, and he helped.
I think
he helped you stay afloat. So if that's it, if that's the extent of his contributions this year, then great. That's a roaring success.
Oh, dude, you crushed the Mike Ford return. There's a chance, non-zero chance too, that he slips through waivers. I don't know if you'd want to go back to the minors, but whatever. I think that somebody like Sam Haggerty helps you a lot more. He can play multiple positions. He's a switch hitter. He's playing really well in Tacoma right now. He can steal a bag. Like, I just think that guy works better as the 26 guy, especially if you trust Canzone to play first. You don't need Mike Ford, not this version of Mike Ford. And
I am interested to see if they'll give Canzone a day at first or not.
Yeah, we'll see. He hasn't done it a lot, so kind of a risk. We are a month away from rosters expanding, but keep in mind it's one position player, one pitcher that they're going to call up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. Do you really want to try and stretch Mike Ford for an extra month if he's your worst player?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Haggerty is the call here, because you're pretty lefty now. Like you have a good balance at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go with Haggerty, he can at least give you that lefty bat. But he's primarily, you want him to hit against lefties, not righties. So I think they should call up Haggerty. If they're not going to do that, I don't know why they wouldn't. But if they're not going to, maybe it's Shiner. I don't know. I just don't know what Mike Ford gives you with Canzone in the fold now. And the Mariners pretty clearly deciding today that Canzone is better than Mike Ford. Because like if you're ever going to give the veteran a day over the young kid, it's probably when they're facing Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, but also, I mean, you just brought him in. You probably want to see what he can do. I don't know if it's necessarily like an indication of that, but
Ford didn't pinch hit tonight against righties.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
We'll see. We'll see. Silseth is a righty, right? So Sunday.
I'm pretty sure, man. But for the first 3 months of Corey Kluber's career, I was convinced he was left-handed. So I don't really know.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I just thought Corey Kluber was left-handed until June 15th of his rookie year. I was like, oh, he's a righty. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, there you go. Colby facts here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see, I guess, on Sunday, right? If Ford's in the lineup. And then if not, then that's a pretty clear indication of what's going on there.
Just saying, it seemed like a decent idea to maybe use him. And by the way, is it Silseth?
Silseth.
Yeah, whatever. He is right-handed. So got that one right. I don't know. It just feels like you have like Estevez loves his fastball. The bases are juiced. Like that feels like a pretty prime moment to go to Ford on your bench to get the lefty righty. And they didn't. And they could have done it for Canzone and it would have made sense. They could have done it for Marlowe and it would have made sense. They could have done it for Teo and it would have made sense. And there's like, no. So I don't know. We'll see. But didn't think we were going to talk Mike Ford tonight, but
yeah. Well,
go Savannah Bananas.
Yeah. Thank you, Cade Marlowe. Thank you. That was pretty rad. So impressed with Cade Marlowe so far, and hope it continues because he's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Again, no show tomorrow. Consider this your Friday show, right? We'll see about the weekend. We'll see if we have time to do a post game, and also that obviously depends on if the Mariners win or not. But for now, thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners post game show. For Colby Patnode, I'm Trident Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dan Gonzalez, DANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well over at Locked On Mariners. That's one word, Locked On Mariners. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. Thank you again for making us your first listen. Again, you can catch Game 2 of the series between the Mariners and the Angels on the Mariners hometown broadcast with SiriusXM via the SXM app tomorrow. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day. We'll see you next time. Peace.